Yo, going over the trade I took this morning, which ended up winning nothing, losing nothing. I just lost like $50. Went break even on it, so I'm gonna go over this right now. Haven't done this in a while, but gonna start back up and just kind of go over the ones I take now. Moving on, it's just kind of an extra journal because yeah, I took a lot before this. I'm not going to put them all down, so I'm just going to go over the ones moving forward. So, yeah. Going into the day, I was bullish on both the. I'm trying to go on bar replay here. Flip up here so we can see this. It's actually bearish. It's bearish on the S&P and bearish on the Nasdaq, as price was basically the same. Marked out these highs on both. It was a no news Monday, so kind of either way I was going to de-risk due to the fact that liquidity is normally pretty awful, and so is price action here. As you can see, we had an S&T formed on the Nasdaq right at like market open. We didn't really end up getting anything off that. We had this right at market open, or market open was back here, sorry. Now you can see market open flipped these tops, then plummeted to the downside, as we can see. Price down to the downside. I could have entered off this right here because we saw a super liquidity here. I break a structure, and then we tapped back into this high, creating this reaction to the downside. I didn't want to enter on this because then risk reward would have been kind of fucked, and I also did not think a price would go all the way down to take out these lows. As although the price was bearish, I definitely wanted to take out buy side liquidity because we had this. What was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 timed relative equal highs. So I was guaranteeing that price was going to hit this, but I guess it just didn't. So price plummeted here. What did it do? Gave us a reaction, and then we ended up not getting anything off this. I was going to take this on the S&P, or what was it? The Nasdaq. I was going to take this on the Nasdaq because we had a perfect long-term SMT, and we once again had the relative equal highs. So I really want to enter on this, but we never got a reaction. We got to move up, and then we just continued to go up. We created an inverse fair value gap, created a normal fair value gap, and an order block, and we didn't react off any of them. So I just didn't want to take it. So this is where I ended up placing a trade on the S&P. We ended up sweeping above the newly made hourly high at 7 a.m. and we got an instant reaction, and we made an SMT, as you can see, above these highs. So we got this candle right here to the downside, and I was like, price swept once, price swept again. Do I really think price is going to sweep all the way down again? No. So I was like, my target was this inverse fair value for the downside. And although this looked kind of weird, I was banking on this because of the fact that on the Nasdaq, this right here was an order block. So I was like, it's very likely that price is going to go up, react off this, push down more into once again this area in order to push up to take out these relative equal highs. So that is what I was going off on that. So I ended up scaling down after we got this reaction, and I immediately looked for an entry because of the fact that we had an SMT. So we had this break of structure here. We had this reaction off of this inverse. We even got another break of structure creating this order block. It tapped into the order block. We got a 2 candle reaction to the downside. So this was plenty for me. I thought this was a pretty perfect entry. And then I obviously targeted this for inverse value for the downside. I thought this was plenty. I also had a backup target if price was looking horrible right at equilibrium, because if price somehow reacted extremely strong off equilibrium, I would have closed there. So what did we do? We ended up going down and then just consolidated for, what was this, 15 minutes, So I just closed that once we hit break even because we got to this point. We consolidated in the same place for about 10 minutes straight. So once price went back into break even and we got a reaction on the NASDAQ after hitting equilibrium, I was like, yep, but this is going to reverse. So closed out, ended up losing like 50 bucks, which is, nothing. And then we just ended up getting stopped out. So I was right in the end. So how could I improve on this? I would say that once we got this, consolidation, we had 8 candles in a row of consolidation, and we were sitting within to take profit on the NASDAQ. I should have probably closed there. I probably shouldn't just haven't taken this trade in general because I knew price wasn't going to hit down here on both the NASDAQ and the S&P. I knew that no matter what, price was probably going to react at some point in the middle here. So I should have either risked enough to where a 1-to-1 would have made me a good amount, or I should have just not taken it in general because of the fact that I knew price wasn't going to go down that much, and I was just banking on the fact that it would hit 50%, which it did. So I'm not really complaining because I kind of guessed this exactly. But then again, I also just didn't use that to my advantage and take a profit when we had this consolidation. Because even here, risking this much, I would have made like 350, 400. So I'm not. I probably should just close there after this. After this drop here, I should have just closed because we went right back to the low. So yeah, that is what I took. Once again, it was a no news Monday, so I was kind of expecting this. Tomorrow we do have news at 7. We have a whole week of pretty good news that is tradable. So yeah, hopefully we can get something tomorrow, but that is what I took today. And yeah, see ya.